My name is James Vint, and I'm going to be talking with you right now about Saturday morning self-scout procedures for an offensive coordinator following a Friday night game. And we're going to talk about this using the new Hudl Beta analytics product. And I do this after a Friday night game before I go into the office. So usually, if we're uploading on the bus home after a road game, or we played a home game and we've uploaded, I usually watch the game, at least watch usually the first half, sometimes the whole game. It's hard for me to sleep, so I watch that before I go to bed. But this is after that. So I wake up in the morning, I get my cup of coffee, and I'm going to do this for about 30 minutes before I go into the office. So as we talk about this, it's a single game self-scout. I'm only looking at the game that we played on Friday night. And this is very introspective. I'm looking at us and I'm looking at me, and I want to know how I did as a play caller, what I did well, what we need to do better, as well as some things we might need to do better as a team. So I'm going to go through some situations. I'm going to look at down and distances. I'm going to look at red zone, goal line, and coming out. And I'm going to go through, and I'll talk you through this whole process. What am I asking? Well, first, what did we call? Was it a good call? Did we execute the call? Where did we have mistakes? What do we need to make some improvements on? Did we follow the game plan? This is important. Did we call the concepts we wanted to call and get the ball to the players that needed to get the touches? And then what can we learn? What do we need to adjust? Do we need to make some personnel changes? Do I see some things immediately as I go through this where we say, okay, I want to look more at this? And then do we need to focus on a certain concept, a certain read, a blocking scheme, or maybe a certain technique? I'm going to be taking notes of all of those things. So what am I writing down? What are the notes that I'm taking? Well, I'm going to take notes of things that I want to cover in our offensive staff meeting. So each coach is going to go through and they're going to be grading their position and watching their guys. And there's certain things that I'm going to see that I'm going to want to make sure that we cover as we meet together. So I'm going to go through those things. What do I see that each position group might need to focus on? See, I'm just going to notice a couple things quick. Again, you can spend hours on this. I want it to be about 30 minutes, but if I see something, I'm going to make a note of it. Where do I need to adjust my thought process on play calls? This is really, really important. Did I miss something? Is there something that's keeping me from making a certain call? I need to take note of that. Maybe I don't have confidence in that. Hey, we had this on the game plan, but we didn't make the call. And then did I miss some things that we wanted to call? Was there something we didn't call that we had worked on during the week? All right, so what I'm going to do is actually take you through what I would do on Saturday morning as I log in. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go through our down and distance tendencies. And with this Hudl Beta product, so the way I used to do it was I would go in after the game, I'd go into Hudl in the old library, and I would click on my playlist from the night before, and I'm always going to save, as an offensive coordinator, all of our offensive plays into a playlist. So I would save those, okay? That's easy to do. And I'm going to use that playlist here in beta. But what I used to do before was I would create a self-scout report. And I would run a summary report, I'd run a formation report, and I'd run a down and distance report. So I'd have 3 reports that I would go through, and then on those reports you could click a link and then it would pull up those plays. And then you'd run those, you'd watch those plays, and then I'd go back to the report that I ran, and I'd click the link to the next set of plays I wanted to watch. So it was constantly going back and forth. Well, what they've done now with this Hudl Beta is they've given us a bunch of really quick, actionable information. So I'm going to go through, and I'm doing this on Saturday morning. If we're meeting at 8 o'clock, I'm going to start this about 6:45, 6:50 in the morning, and I'm going to do this until about 7:30 before I leave to go in the office. And again, usually it takes me about 30 minutes. I'm not going to spend much more time than that, but what I'm trying to do is I want to get a feel for how well I called the game, and then be able to take some notes on some things that when we meet as an offensive staff, which we usually start our staff meeting about 8:15, I want to have some information ready to talk about with the guys. So usually, I mean, honestly, I'm going to watch the game probably a couple of times when I get home before I go to sleep because you're kind of jacked up and it's fresh in your mind. But when I do that, I'm just kind of rolling through it. In this, I'm looking at specific situations, and I always start off. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our first downs, and then I'm going to scroll down. And something I do is I create a column, possession intent, and it's a yes or no, yes or blank. And for the yeses, those pull up so I can break down our first downs even further to go possession intent. And you can see this, I have information right on the side without having to run a report, and I can click on things and it'll bring those plays up. So if I want to clear my filters here, I'm going to clear the filters. I'm going to show you the first thing is as you go through this, you can see we had 36 first down plays, 20 second down plays, 10 third down plays, and 2 fourth down plays. As you roll through, you can see our down and distances. How many times we were at each down and distance, and of course when I click on second down, those change. All right, I'm gonna clear that filter out here. I can look for this overall game and see how many plays we ran from each field zone, and this helps us a lot with game planning. You can see we ran 7 plays inside the red zone. Well, that lets me know right there I don't need 20 plays on my script for the red zone. All right, and if I pull those down further, this will tell me what hash we were on. So I can go down and look at hash tendencies if I want to. And I can say, okay, what hash were we on? Well, we ran 2 from the left, 3 from the right, and 2 from the middle. This tells me 2 things. Number 1, in practice, we need to run the majority of our plays from a hash. All right. And the second thing now is I can look at each hash if I wanted to. But the first thing that I'm going to look at when I come out is I'm going to pull up. Oh, sorry. Let me show you one more thing. You can see that we were 61% run, 39 runs, and 25 passes, 39% pass. That's for the whole game. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off on our possession and tens. And so I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to get our ungrouped stats, possession and 10. All right, so this is going to give me 12 plays that are possession and 10. All right, now I can go through and I can watch each of those plays. So this is obviously going to be the first one of the game. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm going to have my script in front of me right now. And I'm looking, yep, that was the first play. It was what we had scripted. All right, and there's a couple of notes I'm going to make. So when I do this, I have my call sheet with me. And then I also have a sheet with me with boxes for each position. So I have an offensive line box, an inside receiver box, outside receiver box, offensive line box, running back box, quarterback box. And inside receivers is inside receiver / tight ends. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some notes here. All right, the first note that I'm going to make on this is I'm going to make a quick receiver note that we need to review our blocking on this, and that if we have 2 guys zoning, that there is no need for us to get in a situation where we might get a high-low. So that's something that we're going to look at. That's something I'm going to make a note so that when I meet with the offensive staff, I can bring that up. All right, so I have that for each position. I'm going to make quick notes as I go through this. Since this was a perimeter play, I'm probably not going to watch the offensive line. Here's our next possession in 10. You can see we're in a trip snub formation. We run a little RPO. So I'm going to make a note of this. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to take a look. So I'm going to look at my possession in 10 script. All right, possession in 10. I have a script for how we want to start series. Was this a scripted call? If it wasn't, why not? Okay, why did we get off script? But this was a scripted call. We're on the left hash. It's the first thing I have listed from the left hash. Now, one of the things that I notice here, I'm going to go to our end zone view. And if I just want to watch wide, I can click the camera. And whatever angle I want to choose, I can. But I like to be able to watch all the angles. All right, now I'm not going to watch all the angles of every play. Our tackle here, I'm going to make an offensive line note. Right tackle should have locked the box. He should have been blocking the down guy. He climbed a linebacker. We're reading the linebacker, so we need the down guy blocked. All right, so I'm going to make a note of that. Next possession in 10, what do I see? We're in a tray set. All right, so now we're in a tray set. We run inside zone. Well, let's see, why did this bounce? Was this a good play call or a bad play call? What made this bounce? Well, they brought double edge pressure because we got inside the 40-yard line, and that's something we saw in film, was they like to run double edge pressure. All right. They like to run double edge pressure, and our tackle jacks this up. He's supposed to block the B gap. We should be getting a combo right here. We should be getting a combo up to linebacker. We don't get it. Our tackle, he should be locking this because his linebacker's off the edge. So he's blocking the B gap. This is the B gap guy. All right. And if he had blocked the B gap, we'd have hit this thing for a big play. So we jacked that up on double edge pressure. All right. Now, that's one of those things. So I'm going to make a note of that. Here's our next possession in 10. All right. So we had a pass, and I'm going to take a look at our possession in 10 statistics over here. We were 50-50 run pass. That's a pretty good ratio on possession in 10. We're more of a run football team. As you can see, we ran a sprint out here. Quarterback got a little pressure. Where did it come from? We got beat because we had bad footwork. All right, so I'm going to take a look at this and see, where did we lose this player? Oh, our tackle went out instead of working down gap step hinge. All right, so that's something I'm going to make a note of. So I'm going to go through our possession in 10s, and if I want to break that down further, I can see what formations we ran. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different formations. So we didn't do a lot of the same stuff on our possession in 10, and that was something we had scripted. Was we want to come out and show some different formations at the start of each series. All right, you can see we ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plays. Now again, I'm going to look at my list and say, all right, did we like this? Now here's the deal about possession in 10. Possession in 10 on our first downs, I don't necessarily want to call the same thing every time. I want to show different formations to get them to line up different ways. And then I also want to have some options where if we need to take a shot, we can on first down, because we don't love 2nd and 10, but I'll take 2nd and 10. I know that on 2nd and 7, there's certain things that I'm not going to call. Whereas on a possession of 10, everything's wide open. 1st and 10, we're going to open things up a little bit more. But there's certain things that I'm going to list, and we're going to try to break some tendencies in there. So I'm going through our possession and 10s, and I'm going to watch all those. And again, I'm going to make any notes. I'm not watching each play 15 times. I'm just going to make some notes. Here, our backs got to do a better job of getting downhill on pass pro. And again, we had some backside pressure. All right, and I'm looking to see, am I calling things off of our call sheet? I have on our call sheet, I have a possession and 10 column for each hash, and I have plays listed. So I have a menu, left hash menu, middle menu, right hash menu. Some of the stuff in the middle might also be on the right or left hash, depending on whether we're working the field or the boundary. But I can go through then and say, did I stay on script? Or was I doing something that was off script? Because if it's off script, it's either things went really bad or I got lost. Because we build those scripts Sunday. Sunday, we're building our practice plan. We're building our game plan. We're building our call sheet. And then we tweak our call sheet during the week if certain things don't look as good. You know, here's an example where we're running inside zone, and it ends up hitting out the back door, and we jack the blocking up on it. Okay, we jacked this up just a little bit. Quarterback probably could have pulled this football. He ended up giving it, and we ran through an arm tackle. But that's something I can make a note of. After I finish our first downs, so I'm done our possession in 10, then I'm going to clear my filters, and you just go up here, clear all, goes back to the start. Now I'm going to pull my first downs up. All right, I already watched this play. It was the first play of the game. This is our first down after that play. We tried to go tempo. We ran a fast screen. I made a note here that this was a bad tempo call. It was bad because they did something we didn't expect. They pressed up. They had not shown press against empty at all. We gave them an empty set with a tight end. Empty set with a tight end here. Yep, we're empty with a tight end. So it's a look that is difficult for the defense because they've got to figure out where the tight end is, and then all of a sudden they realize we've got 3 receivers to one side, we've got two on the other, but only one's detached, and they hadn't shown ever to play press coverage to that. So we get press coverage to the trips. Not a good look for us because we didn't work that well enough. So I said that turned out to be a bad play call because of coaching. So I just make a note of that as a coordinator. We need to do a great job of coaching what we're going to do. Now you're going to notice we get into a little bit of a tendency here. We go first down, we went trips, nub, and we ran an RPO. All right. I made a note there about not locking it and then the ball security. and then we go go first down, we're trip snub. All right, so we're trip snub again. And now we're running quarterback sweep. So we come out and we run quarterback sweep to the trip side. All right, then we come out again. All right, now we're trip snub again. So now we get into a trip snub set, and we ran another RPO, that same inside zone RPO. And we love this RPO. We probably should have called more of it. And you can see here we got a give read. And I look at this again and say, should he have given it? Yes, he should have. Why? Because the linebacker that we're reading opened to number 3. All right, he's taken the throw away. So at that point, our quarterback should give the football. He does give the football. The back does a good job of finding space here. And I want to look. I just want to peek. Hey, could the back have hit this out the back door? Because typically, when we run this RPO, we tell the back that we want to hit this downhill. We want to hit through that. That backer steps out. Yes, he could have hit this through the back door. All right? He could have hit it through the back door. We got lucky because we were able to get a good fit by our right tackle, and our running back's really, really good. But he should have hit that out the back door. So we're going to make a note of that and show it to him on film. All right, here's another first down play here. Now we're in a tray set. And we ran another RPO, this time off outside zone, throwing the backside. And I'm just going to peek at this again. I want to look at this play again. Okay, did a good job of reading it, put the ball in a good place. I'm going to make a note here that we've got to work on our tight ends after they make that catch. And we got to work our jet guy on being faster. And again, they love to bring double-edge pressure inside the red zone. So I'm looking at all these. So I go through it. I'm going to watch our first downs. And again, I'm going to go through them relatively quickly. Here we get down to the one. We ran quarterback sneak, fumbled the football. We do run a sneak later on fourth down and get a first down. But this wasn't a great call. We tried to do it on tempo. We hadn't practiced it enough. Our quarterback wasn't comfortable. Even the fourth down one that we get, he's too far from the center. It just wasn't good. All right, so I make a note of that. That was a bad play call. But I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to say, okay, so on our first and 10s, we were 65% run, 35% pass. I'm going to make a note of that. Why? Because our next opponent is looking at that number. This is the first game of the year, so we know that they're going to use the data from just this game. All right, and then I'm going to take a look and I'm going to say, okay, how many first down snaps did we have? We had 36. How many different formations did we run? Well, we were in a bunch of different formations. All right, so we were mixing things up. That's not bad. First down, how many different play calls? We had quite a few different play calls here. Were they on script? So I just glanced through and, hey, were these on script? Or were they off script? If they were off script, well, why did we call that? Why did we go off script? What made me get away from what we had scripted? All right, so that's really important. All right. I always clear my filters before I click the next thing. So now we're going to go with our second downs, and I'm going to look at our second mediums. All right, now I'm going to see that on second medium, we were 60% run, 40% pass. I'm going to look at the different formations that we ran. We had 4 formations for these 10 plays. I'm going to look at our play calls. What did we run? All right, so we took a shot. We took a shot here. Switch money's a switch with the running back running the wheel route. We ran a quarterback RPO, and we ran counter. And I'm going to go through and let these plays run real quick. I'm just going to see how did we do. So this right here is inside zone. Our goal on second down and second long, second medium is we want to get to third and short or get the first down. And you can see here we did get to first down, but I don't love this play call. I don't necessarily love it. We do have a body for a body. Our tackle jacks it up. He doesn't climb to backer. Instead, he locks it, so we had no one for the backside inside linebacker. What I like better here, I've got to remind myself that it's okay to run the quarterback. All right, so right there, I probably should have, I'm going to make a note and say, okay, we need to incorporate more quarterback run. I'm going to go to our next second medium. All right, we're going to take a shot here to our fastest receiver, and he ends up getting a pass interference. And I'm, again, looking at my call sheet, going down my script. Did we follow the game plan? Yes, this was on the game plan. This was on 2 different ways. It was take a shot because so something that I do is if we have a kid that's a really fast receiver and we want to take some shots down the field, I'm going to say, okay, we're going to talk as a staff. How many times do we need to take a shot? We need to take 4 shots to him in the game. Well, if we get into a situation, it's second medium, second short, and we haven't taken a shot to him, we're going to take a shot. All right. Hopefully I had this scripted there, and I did. This was scripted. And again, if there's something that we find that they can't stop, well, we're going to run it, whether it's on the script or not. So that's one of those things that I would run. Here we had switch money tagged. All right. This wasn't a good call. All right. Here's why. I had this script for second and long, not second and medium. All right. But I felt like it was going to be a good call. We got the ball on the hash. We were right about the 50-yard line. The safety, there wasn't going to be a lot of safety help. The way they had this running, and we knew our running back could run right by anybody who covered him, but we ended up underthrowing the ball a little bit here. All right. We had a shot at it. We ended up underthrowing the ball, and it got picked off. So we didn't execute at a very high level, and I didn't call it at the right time. We wanted that to be more of a short yardage run situation. All right, so again, I'm going to go through those second medium plays. Here they are. They're going to bring some pressure off the edge. We don't like the call right here. I don't like what we're doing. We're checking. Hey, let's call timeout and talk about it because it looks like we're about to get man coverage. All right, so what did we do? We came out of the timeout. We said, we're going to run an RPO with the quarterback. All right, we're going to run an RPO with the quarterback. They went 3 over 3. Wasn't a good play call. All right, they ended up going 3 over 3. We thought that we were going to be able to catch them, bringing 2 off the edge, and the quarterback would be able to hit this inside. But they went 3 over 3. We got man coverage. We should have run a man beater. I'm making a note of that. Wasn't a good play call. Don't know why. They just showed man coverage. Usually, when they would show man coverage going into a timeout in the past, they would do something else coming out of the timeout. But it's a new DC. It was his first game. You know, here's a situation where it's second medium, and this is late in the game on our game-winning scoring drive. And most of the time, you're going minute 30 to go. You're probably going to throw the football. We realized they went into a prevent, and our kids did a great job. We ran countered, ended up hitting out the back door. And this was something that was not on the call sheet for that particular situation. We did not have this. We do sometimes script some runs in our 2-minute drill. We may have a run, but it's usually like a sprint draw or something off a pass. This was just something that we saw, and boom, let's go with it. And we ended up hitting a big play on it. All right, so those are all our second downs and mediums. So if I clear those filters out down there, now I'm going to go to second and long. And I click those, and we had 9, 11. We had 14 second and longs. Okay, 14 times we're second and long. That's not great. We're 64% run, 36% pass. If I just want to look at the runs, I can do that. If I just want to look at the passes, I can click here and just look at our second and long passes. You know, here we're running a curl flat concept. We jack the route up, we jack the protection up, and this wasn't a good play call to this coverage. All right? Not a great play call to this coverage. The back was too slow getting out. We probably could have thrown the curl route, but we screwed up the protection. Our tackle didn't slide out. All right, so we jacked the protection up. Quarterback ended up getting into trouble. All right, so I'm going to make a note of that for our offensive line, that we've got to do a better job on our protection communication right there. And for our running back, that he's got to be faster getting out into his route so that he can stress the flat defender. So it just wasn't a great play call. Here we're going to run a sprint out. We end up getting a penalty. We jump off sides. All right. Here we've got a Fox, a now and go. It turned out they did a good job of covering it up, and our quarterback just kind of made a play here for us. I'd like to see him just throw that away, but he's big and relatively athletic, and he was able to pick up some yards for us. So I'm going to hit the next one here. We took another shot. All right, this is one of our shots. Our back goes the wrong way, so I got to make note of that. And we ended up getting lucky. Ball was underthrown. Kid came back and made a play. All right. So I've gone through, I'm going to go through all of our second and longs. Every single one. So I'm going to go through our runs. I'm going to go through our passes. All right. Next, I'm going to clear my filters here because I got a bunch of them. Now I click third down. So now I can go third and short. So I go third and short, and you can see we're 100% run. We ran a quarterback sneak. All right, we ran a quarterback sneak. I can look at what we ran from each formation if I want to. If I just want to clear one filter, I'm going to clear the formation filter. I can. I want to go down and see what plays we called. All right, so what do we call? Sneak and then quarterback counter. All right, now, why do I want to know that? Because when we're third and short, our next opponent, that's what they're going to look at. All right, that's what they're going to be preparing for. All right, so I'm going to clear my filters out. All right, now I'm going to look at my third and mediums. What did we do on third and medium? All right, we had 3 of them. We were 33% run, 67% pass. What did we run for our runs? Well, we ran our stick concept. We jack a route up here. All right, so as I watch this, I say, okay, what do we got? We got stick. Our number 3 receiver jacks the route up. Quarterback does a nice job of finding number 2 there, and we end up picking up a first down. But I'm going to make a note that we didn't do a great job. And again, I'm looking at my call sheet. Was this on the sheet? Did we skip something to run this? Was there something maybe we could have done better? All right, next one. All right, so we ran another shot concept. We took a shot, got one-on-one matchup. We took a shot, ended up getting a flag, got the first down. All right, so I go through all our third down and short, our third and mediums now. Now I'm going to go third and long. All right, you can see we had 5 third and longs. We were 20% run. All right, we were 80% pass. Well, I want to see what was the run that we ran. All right, so what happened? We were inside the 30-yard line. We got double edge pressure. We used a little motion as window dressing just to make them have to do some communication and change some gaps. And then we end up, this was something that we had scripted. All right, now this was something we had scripted field zone. Once we get inside the 40-yard line, and then also especially when their backs against the wall, if they get third and long, they're gonna bring some people. All right, they're gonna bring some people, and they love this double edge pressure. And earlier I showed you one where we ran inside zone, but our tackle didn't block the B gap. Well, you can see our tackle works inside, digs out the B gap player, and leaves a big hole. And our running back does a great job of running hard and finishing the play. So this is something we had scripted by field zone. And then I also had it at the bottom. So my third down from the right hash or middle of the field, I had this at the very bottom. And I had it highlighted on my call sheet that this was a run. All right. This was a good third and long run, especially on their side of the field when they're going to bring some pressure and we're going to be able to get them without a B gap player. I had the same thing for the left hash, just the formation flipped and the play going the other way. So that gives you an idea. Now I want to look at our passes. What did we do on third and long? Here we ran a sprint out. All right. Quarterback does a decent job, just gets the ball out a little bit late. We didn't do a good job of protection. I'm going to make a note for the running back and for the left tackle here for the offensive line. Left tackle didn't step properly. Running back got to get more downhill. So I make a note. That way I know that we're going to cover those things. All right, here's the next one we ran, tunnel screen. Quarterback didn't do a great job of selling it. You know, he took a quick drop and looked at it right away, and then the receiver caught the ball and didn't ride the wave. He turned back outside. He ended up making a play out of it, but that's something we're going to make a note on, that we've got to spend some time on screen drill for our quarterbacks and receivers. We don't want our quarterback throwing that necessarily stationary when we're running that jailbreak tunnel. All right, now we're going to work to the next one. We're going to take a shot again. All right, they're in a prevent defense. Probably should have just run the football here. It was late in the half. Quarterback sees that they took it away. I'm making a note this is not a good play call. We were lucky to get to halftime after that. All right, here's the next one we got. All right, 3rd and 14. We're at the 21. We're running a sprint out concept. Wasn't there. Wasn't a great play call. We probably should have run something with a 3-man game, not a 2-man game, or maybe run a dig or a crossing route. And I look at the call sheet, and this wasn't even on there for 3rd and long. All right, so that's a bad play call. And that's where I say, okay, I got to do a better job. I got to make sure I'm on script. Then I'm going to watch our 4th down plays. All right, what do we have on 4th down? So I clear my filters. We got 2 4th down plays. Both of them were runs. All right, so I think right here we ran inside zone, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. We try to get them to jump offside. They don't jump. We run the inside zone. We don't get them. The other one was a penalty where we tried to get them to jump, and then unfortunately we jumped. All right, that's right here. So we're trying to get them to jump. It's a motion freeze call, I think. Nope, this quarterback sneak. All right, we end up getting the first down. There was another one of these where we tried to get them to jump, and we ended up getting a penalty on it, and that's not good. So after I go through, I'm going to go through our down and distance situations. And again, I'm talking through it and spending a little more time on some of the plays. But I'm going through and getting an idea. Now I'm going to look at our goal line and red zone offense. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start off inside the 10. All right, what did we run inside the 10? Make sure that's the only filter I got. We ran the quarterback sneak. We already saw that. All right, what's the next one we ran? This is actually a 2-point play. Throwing the wheel to the back. He's wide open. We don't throw it to him. We end up throwing front side and not getting it. All right. Next one I'm going to look at here is now I'm going to go between the 10 and the 20. What do we got when we got in the red zone? We already saw this one. This is a sprint out. All right, and our next play here, we end up with a no play. We call timeout. All right, next one, we got motion, and we run quarterback. We run our quarterback sweep play back to the nub side, and again, this is the end of our start of the second quarter, I believe, right here. And we had noticed that when we motioned that the corner was the force guy. It's a great situation to run a big quarterback with a strong running back leading. All right, and that was on our script. All right, here's the next one we're going to work. We're going to run a sprint out here, and we end up getting a flag. All right, so I'm going through each of these plays. Here we end up with a penalty. It was an RPO. We had a tight end in the game who hadn't had a lot of practice time. All right, next one I'm going to look at, I'm going to go to our coming out plays. What do we got? All right, so another situation, double edge pressure. All right, double edge pressure. We blocked the B gap up. This time the defensive end really tried to cross the face of the tackle. Again, it's something we'd worked on when they bring double edge pressure. You block the B gap if he stays outside hinge. He does a good job of getting him fit, and we notice the outside linebacker like to run upfield. All right, and this was on our script for when we're backed up, and we like to go into look mode where we look at the defense and then we call a play because there's certain things that we can get, certain looks that we can get that are going to give us an opportunity for an explosive. All right, here's our next one that's kind of in a coming out situation. All right, we ran just a good old-fashioned inside zone. Quarterback probably could have pulled this ball. They were in an odd front prevent. I'm going to make a note here. Our left tackle should have locked this. All right, anytime we get a 3-2 box, we're locking it. And if he locks this thing up, boy, we got a big play because we got bodies for bodies. So we've got to make sure we cover that, and I make a note of it. All right, so now I've gone through a bunch of those situations. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to look for the whole game here. So I've cleared our filters, and I take a look. We're 61% run, 39% pass. How many formations did we run? I want to use between 6 and 9 formations each game. All right, so I'm going to take a look and see if we did that. And then we'll go through. Now, one thing I noticed here, we had too many play calls. We had too many different things that we did this game. We didn't have a ton. I mean, it's not like we had a ton, but when you start looking at all the different combinations of calls, it became a lot. But you can see 34% of our plays were inside zone. You start adding our RPOs off of inside zone. 50% of our offense was inside zone. All right, our next opponent's going to know that. Then I'm going to go through and I can say, all right, let me look at this here. Let me go through and I'm going to look at our formations. All right, so I'm going to start off with lasso, which is a tight end strip to the left. What plays did we run out of that? All right, we ran inside zone to the left 56% of the time. We took a shot and we ran sprint out. Those are the only 3 things we did out of that. Why do I want to know it? Because next week when they see that formation, what are they going to prepare for? All right, then we're going to go trips nub. What did we run out of trips nub? Now, inside zone's almost always going to be at the top, but you can see we ran inside zone away from the trips. All right, we ran our inside zone to it. We ran an RPO off inside zone. We took a shot, And then we got some other things that we did down here, 4 or 5 other things. What did we do the most? That's what they're going to expect. All right. So next week, we may make some adjustments to that. We may motion to trips rather than just get into it on some of this stuff. We may line up in trips and then bump to another formation, make them have to think a little bit. We may line up in trips and say, okay, we're obviously going to run our inside zone, but maybe there's 1 or 2 other things that we're going to do and take a couple things that we did, take a couple of those things out, so that now our next opponent is going to see some things that maybe they're not prepared for. And then what's going to happen is when we start going through the season, teams are going to start getting 3 games, and they're probably going to try to get them all. So now I can go back and look and say, all right, that team now who saw us play 3 games is seeing these formations, but each week they're seeing some different stuff. So now that gives them more stuff to have to practice. Because if there's something that you show that you do and you have success with, they're going to practice it. All right? They're going to make sure they cover it. So we're going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to spend some time going through each of these formations. And then I'm going to pack it up and I'm going to head into the office. Once I get into the office, we'll start meeting. We'll get all this. We'll get this game broken down. All our coaches will have graded the game. When then we'll talk. We'll go over my notes. There may be some notes that they have. We're going to look at some clips on film. We probably aren't going to watch the whole game. We're going to look at the plays that I've marked and the plays that they've marked for review. We're going to watch film with the players, and we're going to come back and start preparing for next week, spend a little bit of time on that. Sunday, I'm between Saturday's work session at school and our game plan meeting Sunday. I'm going to go back through and take another little dive into this. And again, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to watch some of our different concepts. I'm going to look at my play calling a little more in detail, and I'm going to go back and just compare practice scripts. Hey, did we practice this enough times to be successful in the game? If not, we need to make sure that we don't call it. One thing we don't do during the week is we try not to add anything. We try to only delete. If we do add, then we've got to take something else away. And there may be something where we say, okay, hey, we didn't think of this on Sunday. It's Tuesday. Can we do this? Is it something we can get installed? What can we take out? Let's adjust the script. We try not to do that very much. But again, this is how you can use this Hudl Beta. It's got basically your self-scout built right in every situation you want. Any data that you have entered will show up here in some shape or form. And remember, you can always expand this to look at it. And I may say, okay, hey, how many times did we take a shot? So I'm going to pull our passes up, and then I'm going to go through. So for example, I've got every play pulled up right now. I'm going to pull our passes up. All right? And then I'm going to pull our plays up, and I'm going to look at how many shots we took. So I'm going to click this. That's a shot. That's a shot. Do we have anything else that's a shot? Just a true shot? No. All right, I'm going to close that. How many plays do we have in there? All right, we took 6 shots in the game. All right, we took 6 shots. Was that the number? Well, we wanted to take 5. Good, we hit that number. So that gives me an opportunity to do that. So I hope that that taking you through this, for a few minutes, gives you some insight on how you can use Hudl Beta. Let me scroll ahead here. How you can use Hudl Beta after the game for a little 30-minute self-scout as an offensive coordinator. This is, again, the first thing I do Saturday morning before I go to the office. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to grab my coffee, and I'm going to do this sitting at the house. It helps me to prepare to be able to go over film with our staff. It gives me talking points. It gives me some things. The reason we start our meeting typically is 8:15 or 8:30. It gives everybody a few minutes to finish up their grading, finish up things they might be doing, and it gives me a minute to now get in the office and go ahead and type up and print out the agenda. We're always going to have an agenda for a meeting. These are the things we're going to talk about. And the whole reason I do this is I want to find ways to be a more effective play caller. I want to be better in preparation. Those two things go hand in hand. And the big deal is I want to make sure that we're calling in the game what we're working in practice and make sure it matches up. When we're successful on offense, it's because we're sticking to the plan. And with that said, you always got to have a plan for when the plan doesn't work very well. You got to have something ready to go. But if we're getting off script, if we're getting away from the game plan, things probably went very, very bad. So this little 30-minute deal, I think, really helps you as an offensive coordinator. And I'd suggest that if you're a lower level coach, a junior high coach, a JV coach, freshman coach, and you're the play caller, or even if you're not, that you kind of go through and, hey, why we got off script here? Why did I get off script? If I'm the freshman OC and we got freshman film, I'm going to have a call sheet and I'm going to go through and do this after the freshman game. And maybe I'm going to see something. I want I'm just going to tell you this too, our sub-varsity coaches, I want them telling me things they see. You know, our freshman offense coordinator comes to me and says, hey, they struggled with this. They struggled with this formation. When you get in 3-by-1, this is something that they did. That's not really their base. And I don't know if we don't always know if they just do it with the young guys or if that's what they do, but that's something that I can put in the hip pocket and then have that ready on Friday night. And a lot of times those guys will see something, your JV guys will see something in that game and you say, hey, you know, we're going to want to probably call this a little more than what we thought. So I'm going to put that in the hip pocket and we're ready to go. But this shows you how you can use Hudl Beta. It's a really cool deal, gives you really quick analytics, and it's a way to do a quick 30 to 35 minute self-scout and help you to be more successful on offense. If there's ever anything I can do, reach out. I'm on Twitter at Coach Vint, and you know, we have the greatest profession in the world. Let's spend time helping each other. Iron always sharpens iron, so if there's anything I can do, please let me know. Thank you for the opportunity to visit with you about this.